Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Thursday the 7th of April 2022. Thanks for joining me. I really enjoyed using the patch tarot yesterday, so I want to use this deck again. I really like the little figures here and the colors. They kind of cheer me up and make me feel good. So let's see what the cards have to say about Thursday and what energy you'll be working with on this day. So let's have a look. And I also like that on the reversals in this deck, they write the meaning of the reversal and what that is. I'll show you in a minute. Oh, and by the way, thank you for all the recommendations on the Hebrew symbols. I'm really going to look into that because that's like an alphabet I want to have in my toolkit. So first card is Finality, the Ten of Swords. That looks promising, doesn't it? So with the reversals, this is what I mean. Look, it says, oh, this doesn't have a reversal? Oh, yeah, it does. Look, Torment. There we go. So it's this way up, so it's Finality. Then we've got the opposite. We've got Happiness. And Enthusiastic. Okay, so that's the great thing about the tarot. You know, if it was just this card, then you'd look at the Ten of Swords and you'd be like, okay, rock bottom, swords stabbing you and lying in the snow, not being particularly thrilled. But in combination with the other two, it means you have an ability on this day to let go of negative thinking, to make that the finality, to say, I'm not going to torture myself here with negative ideas. Instead, I'm going to tap into my intuition and my connection to source, which does make me happy. And that then brings up this inner fire, which is enthusiasm, and allows me to look to the future and to regain a sense of control and power. So the main thing here, because swords is the element of air, it's to do with communication, ideas, decisions, ways of thinking and seeing the world. If you try and let negative thoughts go in one ear, out the other, instead of ruminating on them or kind of torturing yourself with your own negative thinking, the solution is to tap into the watery stuff, spirituality, creativity, music, your intuition. That's going to make you feel much more centered and will get things going again. So swords and communication, obviously, that often comes via other people or things that you read or decisions that are made that then influence you. They aren't as important as they may initially seem. So if someone insults you, then rather than being immediately triggered and say, how dare you, and getting into a huge argument, it may be better to look at that and say, well, who's actually doing the insulting here? And does it matter? Or if it's a negative decision that affects you, so the company is trying to cut costs, so certain people are being laid off, made redundant, instead of panicking, which I feel would be a normal reaction, panicking about how am I going to make this income that I'm not going to lose, by tapping into your intuition, it's actually seen to be a positive loss, if such a thing exists, that puts you on the path to doing something that's much more enjoyable and creates an income. And again, not seeing it as the way it's initially presented to you. Like redundancy, most people would say, okay, that's 100% bad. But the cards are saying, actually, it isn't. Maybe a job you didn't love that much to begin with, or using this loss to now find different work and work that is more aligned with your life purpose is actually a good change and a great opportunity for you, even if it doesn't present as amazing to begin with. And then finally, what did I say? So it can be being insulted or a decision that influences you or a negative way of thinking. Okay, so if you have a tendency to look at things negatively and you become aware of that, or you tell yourself a negative story, or there's some sort of faulty belief that's taken root I'm just trying to think of an example. Yeah, so, like for instance, catching a glimpse of your reflection in a shop window as you're walking past, and you look at yourself and you're like, ugh, disappointed with your appearance. Instead of reacting that way, saying, do you know what? Let me actually look, and you look for something positive, and you deliberately change that around, and maybe even using a positive affirmation, and you either look in the mirror or you celebrate something about your appearance that you do actually like, then that can become ingrained, and that becomes the narrative and the belief that you choose to engage with. It's like a groove on those old LP records. What if the needle gets stuck in that, goes round and round and round, and you have the ability to pop the needle out of one groove and to put it into another. And you can take it out of the negative one and replace it with a positive. So negative thinking, tendency to worry too much or to try and control things by worrying. You can put an end to that. You can say, no more, I choose differently. And then this finality is actually something that works in your favor. Next, happiness, the 9 of Cups. The 9 of Cups is usually a pub landlord who's really in a good space, and he wants to share the good times by giving out a free round to all his friends and customers. And it's just sharing the love. I'm in a good space. I want to include other people in that. Here, the universe is saying, we love you. You are in a good space. Talk to us, connect with your higher self, and let's throw a great emotional, spiritual party for you and make you feel like this little character at the center here. And you have access to comfort and happiness and joy by going within. And that then outweighs anything like that. It gives you the strength to say, okay, I'm not going to ruminate anymore. I'm going to choose differently. I'm not going to take this decision so seriously. I'm not going to let myself be upset by something that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. It changes your perspective around and connects you with this feeling of love that exists inside of you all the time. So personally, if I've got a choice between this state of being and this one, I'm going to choose this. Finally, we've got enthusiastic. We've got the Princess of Wands. So the Princess is kind of like the Knight in the regular tarot. And the Knight is trying to manage the element of fire. So sometimes he gets it right, she gets it right, and sometimes she doesn't. And when she gets it right, it is enthusiasm. And it's like, hooray, I've got a life purpose. I'm excited about this. Let me jump for joy and gallop off into the future and do something amazing with my life. On the downside, it can be anger if things don't go your way. And here, if it was reversed, it would say indulgent. Self-indulgence. Yeah, I suppose. It's all about me. If I don't get my way, then I get angry and I throw my toys out of the pram. The good news is that with all this build-up here, you differentiating between the negative and the positive, it's very likely that you then go backwards and become angry and bitter about something because you stopped the negative thinking. You've outweighed it with positive emotions, and that puts you on this path to doing something about your life purpose, making progress in that area. And this little symbol here is so telling to me. It's like a shooting star that's shooting upwards. So your direction through life is like this rather than like that. And you're a shooting star in the sense that there's fuel and energy and movement forwards, and you're expanding your life, you're making it more exciting and bigger, and through that process, you get to shine your own light more brightly. And most of us, when we feel like, hey, I'm doing the right thing at the right time, this is utilizing my skills and talents and natural gifts, then that makes most of us feel great. If you're actually good at something, then of course you're going to be enthusiastic about it. You get to shine your light and possibly even help other people. So the people to listen to as such are your guides, your angels, your higher self, and not all the negative, Twitter trolls and haters at work and critics who are like, I'm just being constructive. Don't engage with that so much. Engage with things that make you feel good. And that, that sounds a little bit iffy. It's like, yeah, only listen to what you want to hear. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that criticism, which at other times could be constructive, is too much today. It's unlikely to be constructive. And if it makes you feel like this, then avoid. Because who wants to have this happen? No one. So I think the day for constructive criticism or negative feedback or something, you're a little bit sensitive to that and you may take it to the extreme. So if someone if you're asking for, critical feedback or something, maybe leave it till tomorrow and get a boost from your higher self, which says you can do it. You're perfect the way you are. You're loved and life can and will get better. I haven't mentioned the planets here. So the sun is your identity. Gemini is about communication. So turn down the volume if things get too noisy. Jupiter is the good luck planet and Pisces is spirituality and creativity. So that's where the good luck comes from on this day. And plus the card is at the center. So that's the main thing to focus on. Be a good idea to make your spiritual life a priority because it leads to good, positive, practical action, which is exciting and fiery. Number-wise, we've got a court card. That's 1 and 9 is 10. 10 and 10. So first of all, 10 and 10 to me is the 2 of wands because we've got one wand here, the number 1, and another 1, and it creates a doorway. So this spiritual connection opens the door to new opportunities coming into your life. 10 and 10 is 20. That reduces to 2. And 2 in numerology is cooperation and relationships. So cooperate with the higher self that loves you and wants you to feel the love. And that could even make you enthusiastic about relationships with other people. And maybe saying, hey, I am willing to date again. Or I am willing to look at the positives in another person. Yeah. So I hope you have a lovely day. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website, gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on Book Your Reading to audio reading with me. I use the tarot, astrology, and numerology in my personal reading. So if you have questions about ways of thinking that aren't constructive that you want to let go of, how to connect with your higher self, what your life purpose is all about, or any questions at all, please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe and share the video online. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.